All right, back to it now. I've invited in the most talented person on the team. That, of course, is Ivey. Ivey, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Ivey's been battling through, not feeling great. Touch of pneumonia now, right?
Oh, man, it's been terrible. I'm sure many of you, our audience, have gone through this, but, you know, through the schools and everything else, there's so much crud going around. But, yes, I have been battling it, and
yeah,
pretty good today, though, which is good.
All right, so the question of the day, I know you've been hearing parts of it, but what are we going to call Gaza? Apparently, this 300 square mile strip on the Mediterranean that's been the focus of all this war and destruction. Donald Trump says last night with Benjamin Netanyahu right next to him at the next podium over at the White House, America's going to take over Gaza. We're going to rebuild the place. We're going to clean the place up. We're going to rebuild it. There'll be jobs. There'll be prosperity, but it'll be owned by America. So then the question is, what do we call it? The Trump Strip, Trumpland, Trumptopia? The best answer I've got, by the way, the question is out there on Twitter X for you right now. And go to my site. Make sure you follow and then give me an answer. I think Area 47 was my personal favorite.
Oh, my gosh, how hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, he throws these ideas out, and I just think it's to shake up the conversation to say, hey, this is what we're going to do if you guys there in the region can't get your act together.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. I mean, obviously, he's been in many talks with all of the countries around
the players.
The Gaza Strip. They have brought together he has brought together those folks in talks for peace, even before he took the office for the presidency. And so sometimes I just think he throws these out there as a test balloon, like, hey, this is what's going to happen, and I'm serious, and I don't doubt anything that he says, if you guys can't get it together. And hey, maybe it is a strategic place for us, or maybe it's not. I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with the location.
Well, he brought in Steve Witkoff. Is his, you know, the guy to go negotiate peace on behalf of the United States is his emissary over there. And it worked, obviously. Witkoff was in the room again yesterday. He's a very talented guy, philanthropist, attorney, an investor and developer in Donald Trump's circle. So that's really important. The other thing that I wanted to mention, though, is you look at this, of course, the Democrats will go, why, how can we spend money here? These are the same Democrats that for the last 3 or 4 days have been screaming because we're going to audit USAID, which is the Agency for International Development.
What are they so afraid of?
Did you hear the list? I know you've heard some of this, but I'm going to give this to some of the folks. Let me see. USAID, which, by the way, has about $40 billion in their budget, which is more than a spy agency in America. Say they don't have to answer to anybody as they spend money on things like transgender opera in Colombia, transgender comic books in Peru, ice skating drag queens for climate awareness, funding of sex change operations in Guatemala. This is how we're supposed to spend our taxpayer monies. And by the way, the Democrats, we can't audit that. People will die. These are the same folks, the same folks that said we need 87,000 new IRS agents to audit you.
I didn't have time to pull this bite, but John Kennedy always has these hilarious Senator John Kennedy always has these hilarious sayings. And here I'm gonna tell you what he said right now. Some of the tofu eating workerati at the USAID are screaming like they're part of a prison riot because they don't want us reviewing the spending. I would put together all of this absurd spending into a booklet. I'll call a press conference, and in front of God and country and the corporate media and the USAID folks and my Democratic colleagues, I'll go over item by item, every bit of the diet comic books, the transgender operas, the funding of gain of function research. I'll go over every bit of it and say, do you want to defend this? No, you can't defend it. Just like the list you just went through. Why in the world are we spending money on this?
What about Sesame Street in Iraq? Can we defend that?
Yeah, exactly.
Sesame Street in Iraq, Cuban Twitter, LGBT activism worldwide beyond Guatemala. We had millions of dollars spent for DEI in Serbia in the workplace because we need diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia. We paid for that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And our own people in this country are homeless on the streets. Our own veterans can't get the help that they need. And we wonder why the outcome of the election was the way that it was. And really, the left is completely losing their minds. I've seen on social media, they're just, out of control, losing their minds over everything that Trump's been doing.
This is why we need an after-hours program on Fridays, because we should have a cocktail and talk about this in detail with maybe some more colorful language that I can't, because there are words coming into my head right now that are not allowed on this broadcast at the moment. Yep.
Well, that's going to be coming very soon. We're
I
in the
know.
process of designing the new studio, so that does take some time, but I can't wait for you to see it.
We have to get you out of sick bay for. I mean, it's not just you. It's Sister Sarah. It's
Oh my
Anthony
gosh.
back there.
Our whole core team is sick.
Yeah, I'm like in a hospital.
And what is
zone
this with
here.
AOC, calling Elon Musk the richest man in the world, the dumbest person she's ever met?
The dumbest billionaire ever, an unintelligent man. AOC calling Elon Musk unintelligent. I mean, she has said some really stupid things. This might actually be number one.
Yeah,
It
a
might actually
bartender
be.
from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a bartender can be dumb, but I'm saying, like, come on, really?
Yeah.
Highlight of your career?
Yeah, she's frighteningly dumb. Anyhow.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pull together a compilation of all the dumb things she said just for fun and say, okay, and let's put together, like, your accomplishments versus his accomplishments and see kind of who wins on the dumb scale. I feel like we need that, like, claymation, fighting. Remember that? That'd be great between Elon Musk
celebrity
and...
death match. That's what a celebrity death match.
Great.
Where they'd wail on each other, they'd pull the arm out and bleed all over. Was that was not Saturday Night Live. What was
That
celebrity
was
death?
Comedy Central, I think.
There you
Comedy
go.
Central.
Celebrity
MTV.
death match. Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Man, if I
know.
could do that right now with Elon and AOC, a celebrity death match, I'd love that. And Chuck Schumer with his Corona and his avocados.
Hey, whatever happened to that whole thing with Zuckerberg and Elon and Musk going to be fighting,
apparently that
MMA?
didn't
I
happen,
thought they were going to, get down.
Well, after the Mike Tyson deal, they thought maybe we shouldn't do that, right? Embarrassing. Anyhow, Ivy, get better, please, so we can book our time at Trump Tower, Gaza, so we can go on vacation. Let's get that figured out.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Love you.
Love you.
Talk soon. We'll be right back with some final thoughts.